This is a historic little
What do you want?
event. Oh, right in front of here.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Like being Florida. He always looks better than me. No.
We already have a guy who crawls on walls and spins webs. We already have a guy who's the god of thunder and a fellow who's got green skin and he breaks through buildings up and so forth. But since some viewers might not speak fluent Skrull, we'll use our Mighty Marvel language converter. As a matter of fact, our sales have tripled in the past 3 years, which is quite a publishing phenomenon.
Slower, but still got 7.
No, you promised we were going to take this very serious.
Oh, hey, come on, I love this stuff for my youth.
I mean, my...
Spidey's 30th birthday. What do you get Spider-Man for 30?
Them in countless horror movies they usually referred to as the dead who walk. Now, what can they possibly have to do with Tony Stark or his armored alter ego, the invincible Iron Man?
Well, I have a good feeling about this. Yeah. Peter's the guy building it. I just follow along, you know.
What a great team. You got a great guy.
He's just terrific. I never would have done this. When my contract ended, he said, "Hey, Stan, now you're free. Let me build a company." If he could do it for me, imagine what he could do for you guys.
I think it's going to be the synergy.
200 to 300 fan letters every day, probably as much as the Beatles. I spend most of my time reading the mail and quite a lot of time answering it. During this time, I think I've learned a lot about what young people think. More importantly, I think I've learned a lot about what young people are.
Wouldn't want to change anything about me.
Gee, you're definitely not the same guy I've been writing about all these years.
My guest is somebody who is not only an old friend and associate, but one of the genuine talented movers and shakers of our business, Roy Thomas. So I figured, okay, if we have to do a team, that's fine, but we're going to do it differently than anybody else does it. So instead of a lot of good guys who always won at the end and they were brilliant and they were superior to the villains and they never did anything wrong, we came up with the Fantastic Four, who inevitably did something wrong.
Paid dividends down the line. A lot of people seem to be short-sighted on a lot of things. So,
how does it feel to know that someday in the future they'll talk of you as the man who popularized three-dimensional perspective webbing? I mean, boy, that's a distinctive trait. Nobody else will have anything like that.
Since moving to work at Marvel's production center in California, Lee has acquired a home with a pool, a pair of sunglasses we never saw him take off, and a position as an elder statesman with the folks back at the Marvel offices in New York. Stan still contributes to special issues.
And then another thing you might jot down, Jim. On page 13, he had his helmet on, and
Believers. I'm Stan Lee, co-author of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and creator of Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and a whole caboodle of other comic book characters that my legendary modesty prevents me from mentioning. Now, I'll be your host and guide as we journey together along the rambunctious road to comic book artistry, which is to say, it looks like we're stuck with each other for the next little while. What is it that you're known for?
You gotta be kidding.
I am, of course.
Well, originally I created Courageous Cat.
That was that animated show.
Yeah, an
you
animated
did, right?
cartoon. But I think when I was 18, I tripped across a character called Batman.
How do you pronounce it?
BAT-man. It was called Batman by Robert Kane. In 1939, when I was 3 years old, Stan. That's when I created the Batman. I'm now 42 on my good days. Anyway, Batman is my claim to infamy.
Yeah, I always thought it was the cat things to think about because you always want something different. I remembered we had a character called the Human Torch who was very popular, and he was a guy. I mean, it's an everyday occurrence. He could burst in flame and fly. So it occurred to me, why not do the opposite? So that was Iceman.
Hey, true believers, I'm Stan Lee, and I want to tell you about the most fantastic sweepstakes ever. How would you like to work with me for a day as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics? Just enter the Kmart and Marvel Comics Watch and Win sweepstakes this May and June. Get your Watch and Win scratch-off game card at participating Kmart restaurants and win one of 18 million discounts on Kmart food and drinks, plus 2,500 other prizes. Just watch the Marvel Action Hour and answer my questions. Details at participating Kmart restaurants.
Here we are. Welcome to StanUARY.
this is where we celebrate this goofy guy over here. We celebrate Mr. Stan Lee. All right, we celebrate Stan Lee once a year. Be there or be square. 31 prompts, sketchbook challenge, or a challenge of some sort. And this is like the first year. And as always, I like to launch these streams with a thank you to our co-creator, StanUARY, who within the AKA Pad Army, within a similar stream to this, suggested this very thing. He was higher than a kite, out of his mind, and he suggested StanUARY. And I said, yes, let's do it. Let's YOLO, like you only live once. Let's do it. And that is where we are right now. So we're a little behind, but we're also working on the Just Imagine prompt. And if you're not familiar with Just Imagine, let me show you. Real quick. Let me show you. So right over here, we have DC Comics, Just Imagine, Stan Lee's, such and such. This was such a cool, maybe one of the best DC imprint, like promotions, publishing ventures. They did, I believe they did about like 12 heroes with the Justice League. So they also did a Secret Origins and a Crisis. It's a complete universe. It's a complete story. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Batman, Superman. I've been waiting to do a video on these because I wanted to do a little bit of a blind show off, a blind flip through. I haven't flipped through these. I recently purchased these. I haven't flipped through them since I owned them back in the day when they came out. So, and then later tonight we'll be doing Harry Penn. What else is on the drawing table? We have Uzi Susie, issue 2, Rockin' and Rolling. We're about 5 pages away from that. We are Trial by Fire, volume chapter 2 is in progress. This is one of my sketch pages, and then we have StanUARY. And StanUARY is significant because we work on it just every single day. I mean, I skipped a couple weekends, which is why we're behind. But yeah, I mean, it's a do-it-yourself comic book. And cheers to all of you. We got a iced vanilla cold brew, vanilla cream cold brew here, grande. Always tasty from the Starbucks. But yeah, and then during the promo, I was just working on a couple panel borders. And thank you all. I know a lot of you watch this on Twitter. I know a lot of you come in later on Facebook. But thank you guys. And your enthusiasm drives me. It really does. It's a big deal. But here we go. But yeah. And this is, maybe I keep teasing 3 streams in one night. And I keep kind of like not burning out. I just get into doing other work that's not very streamable. But when I'm done this, I'm going to be recording another episode of the podcast. I'm going to be talking about Red Notice from Netflix. Great movie with The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gail Gadot. My pod is on every single available network. Just search AKA Pad. See what you get. Give me 1 second, people. I'll be right back. Oh, here we go. So just had to turn off the heat. It's so cold in Philly. It's so cold in Philly. I cranked up the heat as soon as I came home, and then as soon as I get here, I'm like, oh, it's just too hot. So a little bit of the direction, we're going to try and do a lot of purples and a lot of browns. All right, let's get in there. We're gonna do some. Now the effect that shows off his weapon, his gauntlet. This is just going to be all green. It's going to be all color. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, and if you're not familiar with the Just Imagine series, I recommend you guys check it out. It's criminally underrated. We are just not getting situated here, and I don't know why. Not getting situated. Got ourselves a nice little bot in the chat. What up, bot? Yeah, and this is maybe the most far out imaginative of all of them, which is why it's just appropriate to be a prompt. And we do our best. We try and either do fun anecdotes or something about some of the character histories to really kind of promote not just the properties, but the ideas. To bring a level of awareness to some of these great pieces of work that are just sitting probably in a dollar bin somewhere. If I could just get someone to dig through a dollar bin or harass their local comic shop dude on some of the things that we talk about here, I'm pretty sure that's a big win. That is me doing my job. God, I got way too much stuff on my desk again, and I keep saying that. I keep cleaning it, but it's like the more time you spend, in between streams and everything else, it just piles up. But I try and clean it every single day. All right, I gotta look up the Sandman's hair real quick. Because his hair is, it's kind of funny. Like, you would think he would give himself like a crazy cool haircut. Yeah, and he has like a stripe. So he really doesn't have like too much. Kind of has that, like, there's that Norman Osborn, like, almost like cornrows. But it's like the whole gag is like, he's upset that he's not chosen as the prompt after being in two movies, one being one of the biggest movies of all time, right? With Spider-Man Homecoming, or Far From Home. We try and leave a lot of these pencil lines here to it doesn't matter if they get like a little dirty or messy looking. That's all a part of the aesthetic. I think that's what makes it a little bit cool, a tad bit interesting for sure. He's got this awesome, like, mechanical, like, face. really cool, like really far out looking stuff. That's what I mean. I just think visually too, like this is one of the best visuals by Walt Simonson. Also, like you cannot deny it. We have got too much. I'm about to just stop this and just go dump everything off my desk. We're just taking our time here with the Marvel Sandman, just because you know, I don't know, like it's almost like his texture. Like you just want to kind of do some extra work to sell the idea of what he's made out of, if that makes any sense. still just not totally happy with this. Like maybe I think I know what we need. And of course, we don't have any spare paper here. We don't have any. All right. Let's see. First, we need a trading card. We're just going to do some nice light splatter, but we're going to do black splatter. I guess, like, technically, yeah, it can kind of also work, for the regular Sandman. This one's a little too heavy. But okay. I don't know. I think we maybe got away with something. Maybe we did. All right, I think we're ready to do some coloring. Good thing I already know the assignment. I already know where to go with these. All right. Where is that light blue? Where's that lavender? Or purple, purple. What am I doing? All right. Now we're going to do the Green Gauntlet. And let's do a little bit of white splatter. Here we go. Just to make it a little bit more dynamic, that's all. All right, I think we're there. The Sandman. All right, day 20. We're getting there, everyone. We are getting there. I'm getting very excited. Up next, Spider-Man with the Steve Ditko reflection. Rock and roll. Don't forget Harry Penn later tonight.